Hari Om. Welcome to this morning session. Come to sit comfortably with both sitting bones evenly on your support. Lift the sides of the trunk. Keep the shoulders lifted, but without any strain. Take the arms out to the side. Turn the palms to face forward. Turn the palms to face up. Breathe in and raise up your arms. Full extension of the side body, back body, front body. Lift your ears, lift the crown of the head, and sit tall. Join the palms together, join the fingers together. And as you breathe out, release your palms and fingers to the chest. Place a thumb on the sternum, the other four fingers away, and focus on the breath. Chant Om 3 times. Take a slow, deep breath in. Om. Slowly release your hands, open your eyes, and come to sit. So, in the practice of yoga asana, it is very important that at some point we become quiet in the asana. When we become quiet in the asana, you'll find that the nerves settle well, the muscles settle well, the bones settle well, the joints that we were working with this week all settle well. So this balance and this harmonious relationship with all the various systems in the body helps us to become quiet. When the nerves become quiet, the brain becomes quiet. And to a certain degree, we learn to still the mind as well. With this in mind, we're going to focus on our breath in the pose, where we're going to soften our breathing and try to take 3 breaths in each pose. If this is not possible, come out of the pose and repeat the pose. Place your fingertips beside you, roll the shoulders back. So even with this action, bring some feeling into this. You're not merely sitting on the floor, this is a posture. So feel the weight of your legs and feel the lift of the trunk. And feel as if you've got vertical lines running up your back. You can use the spine as a reference. Feel there's this vertical line running up the back. And there's a vertical line running up the side of the trunk. 3 parallel vertical lines. As you breathe in, can you lengthen these vertical lines just a little bit? Take the arms out to the side and maintain those 3 vertical lines running up the back. And focus on the horizontal line from your sternum area to the right wrist and the sternum area to the left wrist. Now focus on the lines running up the back, running across the arms, and a straight line running up the spine, past the crown of the head. Focusing on these lines, take a slow deep breath in. Extend those lines, breathe out and maintain the length of the lines. One more time, breathe in. Breathe out. Now when you breathe in, just focus on those lines. Breathing in, lines along. Breathe out and release the breath and release your arms. So this helps us to settle into the pose and quieten to the pose. Take your right hand behind you in line with the spine. Take the left hand over the right knee. Breathing in, lift those lines again. And as you breathe out, gently twist from the navel, move the shoulder blades, move the shoulders. Focus on the strength of your base and the vertical lines running up the back into the crown of the head. And now focus on the breath. Pencil out the outline of your profile. Keep it firm and feel the softness on the inside using the breath. Release the muscular activity, release the skeletal activity, and just find that that energy inside you is maintaining the pose. Release your gaze, release your hands, and let's change sides. Take your left hand behind you to support the trunk. Maintain the vertical lines running up the back. Take your right hand over the left knee. Breathing in, lengthen those vertical lines. And as you breathe out, a gentle twist. The left side. Focus on the strength of your base and lift those vertical lines again. Looking over your left shoulder. 3 breaths in this pose. Release your arms. Interlace your fingers in front of you. Extend the arms straight forward. Wrists in line with the shoulders. Now focus on those vertical lines running up the back and the full length of the arms. Extending from the shoulders to the palms. Rotate at the wrist, turn the palms away from you. Breathing in, raise up your arm. So it's the same posture that we've done previously, but the focus is different. Focus on your base, that's your legs, your sitting bones becoming heavy to support you. And lift the vertical lines along the back body, the center line running past the crown of the head, and the 2 vertical lines from the sides of the trunk now extending into the arms. There's a straight line from the hip all the way to the wrist. This straight line running up the side of the body into the wrist, can you breathe in and lengthen that line just a little bit? I'll feel the energy flowing from the base of the hip all the way up into the wrist. Take 3 full breaths, this action. Breathe out to release your arms. Place your fingertips along the side and straighten them. Straighten the legs wide, slightly wider than the hip. Heels towards you, toes away from you. And now stretch your toes towards you, heels away from you, just to bring some muscular activity to the legs. Now draw the toes strongly towards you, heels away from you. Breathing in, raise up the arms. Focus on the vertical lines, lengthening up the back. And focus on the 2 straight lines from the hip to the heel. Breathe out, release your arms. Breathing in, interlace your fingers the other way. Rotate at the wrist, raise up the arms. Focus on the straight line from the hip to the wrist and from the hip to your heels. Horizontal lines for the legs and vertical lines for the trunk and the arms. Now focus on the length of these lines as you breathe in. And now soften into the pose. Release the muscular activity and focus on the breath. Breathing out, release your hands. Fold the legs in for Baddha Konasana. So even with Baddha Konasana, some of us know this as Baddhasana. Feel the energy. Feel that there's something happening. From the heel to the knee, from the knee to the hip, and from the hip running up the side body. Can you picture those lines? And think of those lines as flowing energy. With the feet together, take the arms to the side, turn the palms face forward, turn the palms face up. horizontal lines of the arms. Think of these as pathways or freeways for the energy to flow. So you don't want to have any blockages along the way. Breathing in, raise up the arms. Now feel the energy from the feet running up into the knees, from the knees to the hip, and from the hip all the way through the fingertips. Focus on the middle finger becoming alive and take 3 breaths in this pose. Soften into the pose, settle into the pose, and focus on the breathing. While you're doing this, there's something happening inside. There's a movement of energy. Muscles are talking to the bones are talking to the nerves, and this communication, harmonious communication, is what will help you to bring a balance to the body and the mind. Breathe out, release your hands, stretch out your legs, a gentle shake of the legs, fold the legs in and come to stand. For the purposes of this session, I want you to focus on your feet being spread and glue your feet to the mat. Feel as if the feet and your mat or the floor are now glued together. Think of magnetic attraction. Can you spread your toes? Lift all 10 toes of the mat, spread them as you release them. Lift the heel of each leg and stretch away. Press your feet down. Maximum contact with the mat. Push your thighs back. Lift the thighs. Lift your hips away from the knees. Try to lift your knees away from the feet. These are subtle actions. Extend your arms out to the side in Tadasana. Now feel the length of those lines again. A straight line running up the heel into the hip, from the side of the hip into the armpit. The same on the right side and the left side. As you breathe in, with a very subtle action, can you lift those 2 lines? Lift the center line running from the spine into the crown of the head. And from the shoulders, feel those lines running down the arm, past the elbow into the middle finger. So we have 5 lines, 2 running up the leg, 1 running up the spine, and 2 running down the arm. Can you focus on just your breath and these lines? Feel these lines becoming straighter, becoming longer as you breathe in and breathe out. Release the pose. So when I make reference to these lines, if you are comfortable, you can actually feel the energy flow on those lines. Feel that the prana, that subtle energy that keeps us alive, that is what is flowing. Breathing in, raise up the arm for Urdhva. And now find the straight line running up the side of the body, all the way up the legs, up the side of the trunk, into the armpit, into the middle finger. Can you lengthen those lines, the 2 lines? And now, from the base of the spine into the crown of the head, feel another line, 3 straight lines. As you breathe in, extend these lines. Very subtle action, even if it's a millimeter, without any strain. Now feel the energy running up the legs, up the trunk, up into the arms, and into the fingertips. 3 breaths in each pose. Breathe out, release your hands onto your hips. With your hands on the hips, can you maintain the lines of the leg and the lines of the trunk? And step your feet out for Utthita Hasta Padasana. Press the feet firmly on the mat. Push the thighs back. Lift the sides of the trunk and extend the arms out. Now we've learned that the action of extending the arms out starts from the shoulder and the shoulder blade. Extend the shoulders away, extend the arms away. Press your feet down. Push your thighs back to lock the legs. When you do this, you lock the hip. Now feel two straight lines running from the feet into the hip, from the hip into the armpit, and from the armpit horizontally across to the middle finger. Feel the vertical line running up the spine into the crown of the head. So you have two lines running up the legs, same two lines running into the armpit and extending out through the wrist, maintaining a straight line from the spine all the way past the crown of the head. And find your breath, 3 breaths. Release the muscular activity, release the skeletal activity, and just feel that these lines are carrying you. These lines are holding your pose. Breathe out, release your hands onto your hips, maintaining the strong lines of the leg and the trunk. We're going to practice the same for Utthita Trikonasana. Take your right leg out to 90 degrees, your left leg in. Turn the hip and trunk to face forward, and now feel the energy running up the right leg. So press the feet firmly on the floor to energize the leg. Press firmly on the out edge of the back foot, energize the legs. Move your thighs back, lock the legs. Hip and trunk facing forward. Breathe in, raise up the right hand. And now, can you feel that energy or the straight line running up from the right hip side all the way into the fingers and the palms? Maintaining that line, breathe out, extend over the right side, and release the arm into Utthita Trikonasana. Turn the hip, navel and shoulders to face forward. If you can, then you raise up your left hand. Can you find the lines in Utthita Trikonasana? A straight line running up both the legs, perfectly straight. A horizontal line running across the spine, out through the crown of the head. And now the arms become a vertical line. Focus on just those 5 lines and your breath. 3 breaths. Pause. Keep flowing in the same direction. Breathe in to come up. Release your hands into your hips. And now bend the front knee. And extend into Virabhadrasana to Warrior 2. So feel the straightness of the back leg. From the knee to the hip is a straight line. Extend your arms out. And focus on the sides of the trunk. Look past the middle finger of the front hand. And as you breathe in, lift those lines. And as you breathe out, release into Virabhadrasana. Focus on the line running up the back leg, up the trunk, up the front leg, into the hip. And the 2 lines extending from the chest to the fingers. Breathe in, straighten the leg. Release your hand onto the hip. For Utthita Trikonasana, it's the same. You're going to find the energy running all the way from the heel of the back leg into the middle finger of straight hand. Breathe out again, release into Virabhadrasana. And now, take the back hand. Can you see a straight line from the heel of the back leg to the wrist and the fingers? Rotate the trunk. Feel the line from the spine to the crown of the head. And find your breath. Breathe in to come up. Turn your feet to the left. Keep the trunk facing forward. Breathe in, lift the sides of the trunk. And as you breathe out, bend the front knee and release into Virabhadrasana 2. A straight line from the heel of the back leg. Turn the trunk to face forward and extend the arms. Find those straight lines again, especially in the arms and the trunk. Breathing in, lift those lines, and as you breathe out, keep the lines straight and descend the hips. Focus on your breath. 3 breaths in each pose. Straighten the leg. Place your hands on your hips. And now we release into Utthita Svanasana, side angle stretch. Breathing in, lift the side of the trunk. And as you breathe out, bend the knee, release your elbow into the knee, and a full extension of the left side. Find that straight line from the heel of the left leg to the middle finger. A straight line in the spine. Line running up the foot, from the foot to the knee and the knee to the hip. Focus on those lines. Breathe in, come up. Turn your feet forward. Toe heel, toe heel, toe heel. Draw the feet together. Breathing in, raise up the arm one more time, palm facing forward. And feel 3 straight lines. From your heel to the middle finger of the right side. From your heel to the middle finger of the left side. Breathing in, lift those lines. And as you breathe out, hinge at the hips and fold forward. Feel the straight line from the feet to the hips. Release the head and become quiet. Feel that the straight lines from your heels to the hips are maintaining the posture, and let the trunk and the head become soft. Feel the energy running up the legs, over the hip, into the arms, and touching the toes again. Place your hands on your hips. Breathe in to come to kneel on the mat. And here we're going to focus on lines again. Even with this action of the cat-cow, find the lines, the straight lines of the back, the line running from the shoulder to the ankle, from the hip to the knee, and from the knee to the toes. Becoming conscious of these lines brings in mindfulness to the poses. Your joints are aligned. Breathing in, lift the sternum, lift the tailbone. And as you breathe out, tuck the chin in. Breathing in, lift. Breathing out, tuck the chin in. One more time, breathing in, lift. Breathe out and release. This was to bring mobility to the spine before we transition into Adho Mukha Svanasana. So for downward dog, tuck the toes in. Move your palms one hand forward. And lift the hips first. Feel that straight line from the armpit to the wrist. Feel those lines lengthen. Lengthen the lines from the armpit to the wrist. Feel the spine becoming long. And then slowly work to straighten the legs. And feel the legs. The energy running up the legs into the hip. And from the wrist and the palms and fingers running up the side of the trunk. This energy meets at the hip. Feel the hip lifting where the two lines meet, and feel the energy lifting. 3 breaths. And release your knees onto the floor. Sit back to child's pose, a full stretch. Lengthen the lines of the sides of the trunk. Your hands back. And come to lie flat on your back. With both hands, draw both your knees in together. For Kugan Naidoo, soften the abdomen. And release your feet. Straighten the right leg, straighten the left leg. And release completely to the floor. Lines of the body, they're still there, but feel those lines of the body releasing to the floor. The straight lines from the hip to the heel, from the shoulders to the middle finger, and from the hip to the crown of the head. Feel them release to the floor. Focus on just the exhalation. Place both your hands on the abdomen. Raise up your knees, keeping your feet flat on the floor. Raise up your right hand all the way past the right ear and roll over onto your right hand side. Press with the left hand after that. Sit in a comfortable pose. Look to the side of the trunk. And can you find those lines again, running up the spine, up the side of the trunk? Breathing in, raise up the arms, the straight lines again. Join the palms together. And as you breathe out, release your thumb to the sternum, maintaining the straight lines at the back and the horizontal line of your base. Take a full breath in, lengthen those lines. And as you breathe out, release the chin to the chest. And open your eyes. Thank you very much for joining the session. Have a wonderful weekend, and we will meet on Monday. Thank you.